Recent nationwide studies found over 43 million illegal school bus pass-bys in just one school year. That's not a typo. Enforcement is responding, and the consequences are about to feel like running red lights in front of a courthouse. And with even more states expanding school zone and stop-arm camera programs in 2024 and 2025, the penalties coming in 2026 are tougher than anything drivers remember. I'll walk you through the real penalties, how fast school zones can drop to 20 miles per hour without you noticing, and how repeat violations stack into license suspensions and jail time. Watch this before your next morning commute. Ever coasted at 30 and missed a tiny school zone sign that quietly dropped it to 20? That 10-mile-per-hour mistake now stacks. States flip on school zone limits in different ways. Fixed morning and afternoon windows, flashing beacons, or the "when children are present" standard. The detail that trips drivers is the activation mid-block. You enter at the regular limit, then the beacon lights, and the rule changes under your tires. Enforcement is tightening around those triggers, and the margin for error shrinks once the system flags you. People treat the first ticket like a minor fee. That mindset breaks down fast when enforcement layers in. Many corridors run automated cameras alongside patrol cars, so one pass can become two separate contacts with the system in a single week. Points hit your record, and your insurer recalculates risk for the next renewal. In some areas, the posted school zone fine is a base, then court costs, surcharges, and administrative fees push it higher. Repeat that pattern, and you're paying more for the same commute with less license left. Run through a typical morning. You roll past a school driveway. Halfway down the block, the beacon starts flashing, and a crossing guard steps out. The duty shifts instantly. You slow to the posted school speed, yield, and keep it there to the end of the zone. If a camera is mounted on the pole, it timestamps your approach, reads your plate, and logs the speed differential against the active limit. If an officer is stationed at the far end, they're watching for anyone who lifted but didn't reach the number. The chain of evidence is clean: location, time, device calibration, and the captured plate. States have leaned on tech to close gaps. Automated school zone speed cameras issue citations to the registered owner, and many places use a fine ladder that ramps with each violation in a set period. Point systems add another layer, and the math gets worse when insurance adds a surcharge for moving violations in protected zones. Some jurisdictions structure first offenses near a few $100s, and then escalate for second and third hits. Persistent offenses can trigger license suspension reviews and, in certain states, open the door to jail time for drivers who keep breaking the rule. Treat school zones like dynamic red lights. When the signal is active, your only move is compliance. Cities that deployed cameras saw a spike in speeding during school hours, not because drivers suddenly got worse, but because more violations were captured. That's the wake-up call, and there's a stricter category ahead. Passing a school bus with its stop arm out gets policed even harder, with growing camera programs on the buses themselves and penalties that look a lot like running a red light right in front of enforcement. Here's the bottom line on the school zone side. A first hit often starts near a few $100s, repeats climb quickly, and stacking points raises your insurance and risks your license. You now see how easy it is to trip a school zone penalty. Next is the stop arm rule, where drivers lose licenses faster than they think. Think you can slip past a school bus with the stop arm out? One pass can cost more than a month's rent. And if you repeat it, jail lands on the table fast. Here's what actually triggers the violation. When the stop arm extends and the red lights flash, you stop, period. Children loading or unloading means you wait until the arm retracts and the lights go dark. Extra lanes don't save you. Center turn lanes don't save you. On many roads, traffic in both directions must stop. Some states carve out an exception on a divided highway with a physical median, but that depends on the state. And a painted strip doesn't always count. If you're unsure about your local rule, assume you must stop until that bus clears the duty to yield. A lot of drivers think a wide roadway or a higher speed corridor gives them a pass. Often wrong. States draw the line based on median type, not how many lanes you see. A concrete barrier may split obligations. A two-way left turn lane usually doesn't. That's where people get clipped, especially at dawn routes, where visibility is fine. But the stop sequence looks brief. The law keys off the stop arm and red lights, not how long you think the pause will last. Take New York as a working model. A first offense can land around $250 to $400. Repeat offenses climb quickly, and points follow. Stack enough violations or trigger aggravated scenarios, and now you're staring at suspensions and potential jail. The structure is designed to escalate pressure on persistent offenders. And courts take school bus violations seriously. Why the heat? The scale. In 2022 to 2023, more than 43 million illegal pass-bys were recorded. States answered by putting cameras on buses, expanding coverage, and boosting detection. That means a lot of violations that used to slip by now turn into mailed citations. Those programs read your plate, timestamp the event, log the GPS location, and preserve a clean chain of evidence. The bus system sends the package to enforcement, and a notice goes to the registered owner. Penalties are split based on how they catch you. In many places, a camera ticket lands as a civil fine with no points. But if an officer sees it, you can get points, higher fines, and a court date. The difference matters when insurance reviews your record, and when a job screens your motor vehicle history for deliveries, rideshare, or CDL-adjacent roles. It's not just about the check you write. It's about the profile you build with every mark. Here's the payoff. In certain states, fines can climb to roughly $1,500 with repeat offenses. Add points and prior violations, and now you're in suspension and potential jail territory. We've covered the law you can't ignore. Now let's decode the bigger lesson. When brands miss signals, the penalties look different, but the fallout hits just as hard. If drivers get punished for ignoring signals, what happens when automakers miss even bigger ones? Take the Nissan Titan. Solid truck, big V8, decent tow numbers, and yet the market verdict was cold. For example, in one recent model year, Nissan's Titan sold around 10,000 units, while Toyota's Tundra moved more than 120,000. A massive gap that showed how two brands reading the same market can execute completely differently. That is not a small gap. It's two brands reading the same demand and executing completely differently. One delivered a clear product story backed by steady updates and ecosystem support. The other kept a competent truck without the momentum that keeps buyers coming back. The Titan didn't falter because it fell apart. It faltered because Nissan didn't modernize fast enough. The trim strategy never built a ladder of must-have versions. Tech rolled in late. Powertrain choices stayed narrow, while rivals rotated in efficiency plays and hybrid options. Dealer networks struggled to pull shoppers off the segment leaders, and national marketing never reset the narrative. When your rival's launch refreshes on short cycles, a slow cadence turns yesterday's spec sheet into today's stale offering. Engines show the pattern. Nissan scored attention with the Cummins diesel. Strong unit, credible brand, serious torquey. But it arrived as a moment, not a long game. Without a cohesive plan, transmission tuning across use cases, sustained trim differentiation, accessories, fleet hooks, and a clear fuel economy story, the win didn't compound. Toyota kept a steady platform rhythm, consistent updates, and a brand trust cycle that reassures buyers their investment will age well, supported by parts, resale, and dealer service that feels predictable. Zoom out, and the consumer shift matters even more. Buyers moved hard into higher-margin trucks and SUVs. Sedans bled share. Subaru walking away from the legacy after a decades-long run tells you how ruthless that pivot became. When the market speaks, products that can't carry profit and momentum get sidelined, even if they're well made. The Titan lived in that squeeze without the upgrades that would have turned it into a profit lever. Now, look at Volkswagen. After Dieselgate, the company threw resources at EV pivots and luxury positioning while wrestling with software issues and cost overruns. Portfolio bets leaned on brands like Porsche, yet strategy shifts there fed back into VW's financials, exposing how assumptions about EV timing and premium demand can stress a balance sheet. High development costs, plus slow software rollouts, and softer EV demand create drag, and the bill arrives faster when interest rates stay elevated. Here's where it tightens. VW owns Porsche, yet EV softness, software delays, and capital drain can coexist within one group if timing is off. Wrong-timed bets magnify losses. You feel it in delayed launches, trimmed options, and incentives that signal inventory pressure. So, how do you avoid buying from a brand about to hit a strategic pothole? Treat it like an intersection. Watch the signals. You want steady product spend, a credible EV and hybrid roadmap, and dealers aligned on service quality and parts availability. Before we close, I've got a simple checklist you can use to audit a brand's stability before you sign a loan. Laws and markets punish late reactions. Timing separates a manageable ticket from a total strategy. You saw how fast the stakes rise when signals change. The same clock runs on brands that hesitate and then pay for it in lost trust, weak resale, and higher ownership costs.